Testing 1 and 2 and 3. Move that closer. There we go. Ah? Oh. Is the sensitivity not working properly? Oh. Yes, it's not sensitive enough to pick up my voice. Okay. Okay. There. Okay, that should do it. Alright. Hello, my love. You focus on going sleep, okay? I love you very much. I switch over now. Yes, you will be getting a VOD from it later. You're quite cute. There we go. Alright, let's see. Was I making a scary face just now? Oh, hi Juniper, yes, I'm fine. I was just doing my Chords of Steel exercise. Now I'm all ready to go. Yes, knowing you, I'm sure it'll be just fine. Oh, I brought you a present from my garden. Oh, it's lotus root. Is this a lotus root? That's right. My grandma says lotus root is good for your eyes. She even says that if you look through the holes, it can help you see into the future. Hello. Yes, my love. How can I help? Is everything okay? A little goodnight message for the VOD. Well, my love, I hope you sleep well. I wish you have the sweetest of dreams. And know that I love you more than anything in the world. My love for you is not quantifiable by numbers, nor can it be expressed properly in any given language. So I can only try my best to express it to you like this. And never forget it, alright? I love you more than anything. I love you too. You are the most important person to me in the world. And I do not know what I would do if something were to happen to you. So I must simply ensure that you are safe at all times. It's the only way. Continue. Thank you, my love. It's for good luck. Maybe later you can cook it and... Thanks, Viz. I'm gonna have some right now. Oh my. It's kind of tough, though. You can't eat it raw, but thank you for the enthusiastic try. Oh, if she didn't think me weird before, she will now. I gotta calm down. Apollo! I'm sorry I'm late. Hi, Athena. Junie, I didn't know you were coming today. Did you come to cheer Apollo on? Oh, I get it, you sly little thing, you. Athena, stop. Quit kidding around, Athena. The trial's about to start any second. Is everything all set? Oh, Apollo, Apollo. When will you ever figure it out? Figure what out? Well, that was the longest sigh I've ever heard. That's it. It's all over for me. They're gonna find me guilty. This is our client, one Solomon Sol Starbuck. He's a very famous astronaut who happens to be an acquaintance of mine. You wouldn't know it right now, but he's usually a very upbeat and driven person. The scene of the crime this time happened to be the Cosmos Space Center. Back in high school, my best friend and I went there almost a little too much. Well, that's where we met Mr. Starbuck. We asked him about space travel, and he launched into story after story with so much passion. Back in those days, the man was 100% my hero. Oh, hello, Kirby. Annie is just about to pass out. Are you sure you're okay with being my lawyer, Apollo? Of course I'm sure. I know you, Mr. Starbuck. I know you're not the type to commit murder. Well, thanks, but... I was supposed to be in space right now. He's so depressed it almost seems like an act. The launch getting called off must have been a huge shock. I'll probably never get the chance to go into space again. Don't say that. Don't stop believing. Besides, you just have to go into space again. Yeah, I don't think I could face Clay in the afterlife if I just rotted away in a cell. Clay Terran. Can't believe he was murdered. I mean, he was such a promising astronaut under your command. Yeah, he was a good guy. Always there to pick me up when I was down. No one loved life as much as him, that's for sure. He was always so full of energy, telling me, "You're fine, Mr. Starbuck." What case did you think it was? How could something like this happen to a guy like him, huh? I've never seen Mr. Starbuck so down. Clay's gone, and I'm going to prison. I wish I could just burn up like a shooting star right now. Mr. Starbuck, you'll be fine. Oh shit! What's with the yelling? I'll get to the bottom of this today. You'll see. It's okay, probably. In exchange, I want you to go back into space for you and Clay. Promise? Does that mean you have lots of evidence to prove my innocence? No. No, we have none, actually. Oh, well, about that. We didn't get to investigate the area as much as I'd have liked, thanks to the police. I'm done for. I'm a goner. Everybody thinks I did it. I thought I was gonna soar like a comet, but I'm just gonna crash like a meteorite. No, don't say that, Mr. Starbuck. Don't count yourself out yet. I know it's hard to lose a teammate, but you've got to keep going. And what about you, Apollo? What about me? I was just thinking, wasn't Clay your best friend? We need to focus on the trial right now. Are you all ready to go? Apollo. Get the fuck in. Okay, here we go. This is it. This is the one trial I can't afford to lose. I don't think it works like that, my love. For Clay's sake and our clients, I will find Clay's killer. Court is now in session for the trial of Solomon Starbuck. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Excuse me, Mr. Justice. Yes, Your Honor. What happened to your eye? I'm fine. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Are you sure? I don't... I'm fine, Your Honor. The defense is ready. I'm sorry, Your Honor. He's been like this since yesterday. He keeps insisting it's just a sty. I suppose it's something he doesn't want to discuss. Maybe he's entering a touchy age. How old do you think Apollo is, Your Honor? Very well. And the prosecution? And the prosecution appears to be ready as well. He's here. Oh, Jesus. I like the shading around his knuckles. Not yet. I'm not quite ready yet. Straight away. The prosecution is now ready. Well, it didn't take him long this time. What's up with Blackwell? Now then, I should give the opening statement. I'll do it. You will? What an unexpected surprise. This time, I can't leave it to anyone else. I see. Something's off with the two of you today. Even the bird's depressed. You both seem different somehow. Very well, Prosecutor Blackwell, your opening statement. Huh? I thought that you did that to the captain. It was just yesterday. The crimes in question occurred in the Cosmos Space Center. Ah, that famous federal research facility? Of all things related to astrology, right? Astronomy. It's astronomy. Anyway, a rocket was set to launch from there. But at 9:28 a.m., before they could even move the rocket to the launch site... Wow. 2 explosive devices were detonated and the launch was cancelled. My word, 2 bombs? How dreadful. The defendant in the trial today is charged with the bombing and with murder. One Mr. Solomon Starbuck. For whatever inane reason, he detonated a bomb on the rocket he himself would be in. Solomon Starbuck? I recognize that name. Isn't he the famous astronaut? Correct, your boldness. Mr. Starbuck was the pilot of the HAT-1 rocket 7 years ago. As you may recall, despite some interstellar trouble, his mission was a success. Some say it was a miracle he returned alive. I suppose you could say he's a living legend. He is so helpful. I love him. Oh, I remember now. You become something of an international celebrity, right? The HAT-1 miracle. Whoa. They even turned that incident into a movie and everything. We got a real space pioneer in court today. But even heroes tumble from their lofty heights. Returning to the subject at hand. Ah, yes. The victim was one Mr. Clay Terran, a subordinate of the defendant. Indeed, a loyal disciple brutally stabbed to death by his mentor. Stabbed to death, you say? You mean his death wasn't the result of the bombing? Correct. Despite his lofty dreams, the victim was seen as an interloper by the defendant, and so he was sent not into space, but into the universe which we mortals cannot see. Clay. I think I've heard enough. The case seems pretty clear-cut at this point. However, there's one thing I'm curious about. That metal box next to the witness stand. This is familiar. What purpose does it serve exactly? Since you asked so nicely, It's your coffin.
Ha! Have mercy on me.
I jest. He's so funny. And due to its immense size, we've little choice but to lay it where it rests now. We shall get to the contents of the box in due time.
Phew, I think I just lost 50 years of my life.
This man is immortal. Does he have 50 years left? In a monologue, Athena. In a monologue. Enough jabbering. He fucking summoned him.
Bobby Fulbright's the name. In justice we trust. Ah, Detective Fulbright.
Oh my god, Kirby, it's your favorite guy.
Very well then, please explain the details of the incident to the court if you would. On it. First, take a look at this pamphlet from the Cosmos Space Sensor. In it, you'll find a diagram outlining the overall layout of the space sensor. Ah, here we are. For a more detailed look of what's on the left side of the building, take a look at this cross-section that we the police have created. See the launch pad in the main building? The launch pad is a square building and the round structure is the main building, correct? You got it! The incidents took place in the launch pad 1 in the main building's lounge. I'll be using this diagram during my testimony. It'll make it easy to understand. Just before the rocket was set to launch, 2 bombs went off. Boom! Boom! We get 2 booms in shot! One was on the 2nd floor of the Space Center's main building and one in Launchpad 2. Launchpad 1, my apologies. Thankfully, only the 2 astronauts were on Launchpad 1 at the time. 2 of them managed to make it back as far as the boarding lounge. But after the escape, one of the 2 was found stabbed to death. A murder on top of a bombing. Detective, the victim was already dead by the time you arrived in the lounge, correct? Yep. Thinking he'd sabotaged the bombing, the defendant killed him right there in the rocket. Just look at this tragic photo. Oh my, is that a knife in the victim's chest? Yes, Your Honor. It's a knife that cruelly ended this young man's dreams. We couldn't get any fingerprints of it, but that's because the defendant was in his spacesuit. Utility knife added to the court records. By the way, Detective Fulbright.
My love, are you okay? Don't answer that. Anyway.
Why are the victim's helmet and right glove absent in this photograph?
We had to remove them to identify him, Your Honor. I personally removed his glove during the investigation. We had to get his fingerprints to confirm his identity, after all.
Yes, it would be very difficult to identify him without his face or fingerprints. Now, there's just one more thing I'd like to inquire about. What's this round thing next to the victim in this photo?
And something so important to the victim, he took it with him as he escaped the launch pad. A capsule that apparently contains asteroid samples. While obviously valuable for research purposes, it has no relation to this case.
I see.
And that was a lie. So, we know that the bomb in the main building was on the 2nd floor. But where was the bomb that was in Launchpad 1 located? That was on the rocket itself. It was situated around the central part of the rocket. Apparently, the area around the launch pad's elevator was a sea of flames. I would like to submit this diagram report into the record. The trial's just started and we're already in a bind. You'll get used to it. Besides, that's what cross-examinations are for, right? What the 2 astronauts were doing during the bombing. That'll be the key. Okay. Let me get this straight. Mr. Starbuck rigged a rocket he was going to board with explosives. Huh? What are you talking about? If the defendant really did plant the bomb in his own rocket, he'd get caught in the explosion as well. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Fine. A simpleton for a simpleton. Fulbright, the motive. Understood. The defendant actually had astrophobia. Astrophobia? What's that? A fear of space, naturally. Just the thought of space could cause the afflicted to freeze up. So, in his terror, the defendant found a way to stop the launch the last minute. My love, please go to sleep. That's absurd. Unfortunately for you, we have evidence. Take a look at these. What are they? These are anti-anxiety tablets we found among the defendant's possessions. Apparently, he was taking them in secret to quell his fears. And there were a multitude of problems with the rocket Mr. Starbuck rode 7 years ago. Rumor has it, it threatened to crash a number of times as well. That was, of course, very traumatic for Mr. Starbuck. Objection! But that doesn't mean he'd go so far as to blow up his own ship. Silence. The defendant couldn't bear to mar his good name, now could he? No, not after the media had branded him the sole Starbuck space pioneer extraordinaire. Given these conditions, the defendant could hardly run away from like some base mutt. What, so that's why you think he resorted to the bombing? Naturally, he constructed this act of sabotage in an attempt to blow up the space center, which would effectively abort the launch, but spare his reputation. Ugh. Now I'm sure you understand why we have to bring justice down to this atrocious criminal. Can you not be down bad for 5 seconds? Hold it. How powerful were the explosions? Well, the one in the main building wasn't strong enough to bring the place down, but the room it went off in was burnt black. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. Due in large part, of course, to me stepping to lead the evacuation. Wait, what were you doing there in the first place, Detective Fulbright? Haha, I'm Bobby Fulbright, hero of justice. I'll be wherever and whenever people need my help. I'll go to the other side of the world or even to the edge of the universe. I'm not sure he knows how far that actually is, but I guess I'll leave that one alone. Admirable decision, Justice Dono. Huh? What did he decide? Anyway, could you please describe what it was like at the Space Center at that time? The bomb cut the power to the central bank of elevators and the third-floor lounge. It was pitch black in there, I tell you. However, the security cameras and whatnot were running on emergency backup. And how did the evacuation go? I immediately and heroically whisked people down to the Space Center's basement shelter. The basement shelter? Yes, there's an emergency shelter beneath the space station. An emergency shelter, huh? Oh, here it is. It's at the bottom of the diagram. The Space Center's pretty impressive to have its own shelter. Athena, you grew up there. You should know this. The power outage and evacuation seems unrelated to the murder at this point. I guess I'll leave that aside for now. So there were 2 explosions in total, correct? Yep, that's right. I press that. Hold it. Are you sure it was only the 2 of them? It was just before the spaceship was set to launch, so of course it was only those 2. Well, there could have been somebody else inside that rocket. Silence. The notion of a third party at Launchpad 1 is utterly absurd.
Just to enter the area from the lounge, one must pass through a door guarded by a fingerprint recognition device. It allows me to state up front that there are precious few with the clearance to do so.
A fingerprint recognition device sounds futuristic and complex as a space center.
Actually, it's not as amazing as you think, Your Honor. Take a look at this photo. This is the door in the lounge with the fingerprint lock. Only personnel whose fingerprints are registered can pass through.
I see. That's very different from what I had in mind. And is there a record of the number of people that passed through the door yesterday?
Yes, there were only 3. The defendant, the victim, and the director of the Space Center, Yuri Cosmos.
Then doesn't that mean it's possible that the director's the one who did it?
Not a chance. He was in the main building when the bomb exploded at 9:28, doing his job directing the launch. Besides having an alibi, he has no motive for committing these senseless acts.
He has a point. I guess the director can't be considered a suspect then.
The 2 of them managed to make it back as far as the boarding lounge.
So, while it would appear that the pair barely escaped with their lives, in actuality, one of them had already been murdered inside the rocket. That's the angle the prosecution wants to push, correct?
You got it. In fact, that's what I've been trying to say this whole time. The victim had been alive, he would have sure tried to stop the bombing.
Is there any chance Mr. Terran could have been killed before he boarded the rocket?
They were both alive and well at the boarding time and embarked under their own power. Their hearts full of hopes and dreams of space.
And both of their hopes and dreams were dashed.
If I may continue my explanation, after the evacuation order was given, the defendant made his escape, carrying the victim to make it look like a rescue. But after the escape, one of the 2 was found stabbed to death.
And who was the first to find the victim?
Actually, there were 2 of them. The Space Center's director, Yuri Cosmos, and Detective Candace Arm.
One of them was a detective.
Yup, Detective Arm specialized in bombings, you see. She and the director were ordering an evacuation following the explosions. They were also worried about the astronauts, so they hurried over to the boarding lounge. Yeah, disarm. That's when they discovered the victim along with the defendant.
The 2 witnesses, huh? And one of them's a detective. I doubt either one of them would have anything to say that would help me.
I think that pretty much covers the details of the case. I used the wrong voice.
Only the victim and the defendant were on the launch pad when the former was killed. If this is the truth, then only Mr. Starbuck could have carried out this crime.
What little I could get out of him only hurt my case. Justice don't know. Foolish is the warrior who rushed headlong into battle. Preparation is an essential element of battle, so I advise you take a gander at this.
What is it?
Footage from a security camera. The 2 astronauts emerged from the bowels of the Launchpad 1 corridor. The boarding lounge security camera captured their desperate escape. And now I would direct your attention to what the defendant is shouldering, which you can see is none other than the lifeless body of the victim.
What? 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 What does that say, Anaya? What? Order, I say. This lines up exactly with what the prosecution has been asserting. I should have known Blackwell would have something like this ready. Apollo? How exactly did you determine that Clay was already gone in that footage? Ah, I see what you mean. Whether Clay was still alive at this point is pretty crucial. Your Honor, please take another look at the footage. Isn't it possible that Mr. Terran was still alive and it was Mr. Starbuck helping him? Why, I believe you're right. One man carrying the other to safety. What a beautiful expression of friendship. Oh, okay.
Perhaps that's what it looks like to a one-eyed hothead and a dotard. But it only makes sense if it's the victim's dead body.
What do you mean?
Fulbright, explain it to Justice Dono.
You got it. Oh, well, I'm getting both voices confused. You got it. Ready, kid? If the murder had occurred in the lounge, somebody would have spotted it. Anyone can enter the lounge, after all. But doing it whilst they were alone in the spaceship, that's a horse of a different color.
Objection!
But you can't deny that there's a possibility the murder could have happened in the lounge. All that video shows is a man helping his fellow astronaut out.
Silence!
Your assertion is based on emotion, or your assertion is based on emotion. It's based in your belief that Mr. Starbuck would surely help his own disciple. But you have no logical explanation as to why the victim could still be alive.
Unfortunately, Mr. Justice, the prosecution is right. Your argument is lacking in sound logic.
But it sounded perfectly logical to me.
Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no further objections, I believe it's time to bring this cross-examination to a close.
Objections? Well,
Hi, I'm relevant.
Oh, Apollo. Apollo is going through some shit.
Your Honor, the defense requests a little time to think and regroup.
Given the facts, I'm not sure I see the need.
What is it, Athena? What you see, girl? What you see? It's just, there's something that's been bothering me.
If it isn't the defense stalling for time, as always. Very well, I'm feeling generous. You may have a small measure of time.
Yes.
You have 2 minutes. Oh, 5 seconds.
5 seconds!
After that, I declare this cross-examination to be closed and a verdict to be rendered. Your boldness, raise your gavel high. It's time for a countdown.
Oh, ow!
Ready?
We don't have time. Spit it out, Athena! Look, I don't think the prosecution's explanation is very complete. Meaning there's something missing, like they conveniently left it unexplained. Something they didn't explain. Ah, you're right. I think I know what you're talking about. Your 5 seconds are up, Mr. Justice. What the fuck? Is there anything about the prosecution's argument you'd like to rebuke? Yes, Your Honor. Actually, there is. There is something the prosecution has yet to make clear to this court. Well, if you put it that way. Ah, shit. What's the prosecution?
Well, we discussed the motive for murder. So, why the body was moved?
They failed to explain why Mr. Starbuck would bother bringing the body back at all. If the defendant wanted to kill the victim, why did he just leave the body in the rocket? Why go through all the trouble of bringing him all the way back to the boarding lounge? Oh, that's true. I didn't think I heard... we've heard the prosecution's thought on that yet. That's because they have none, Your Honor. After all, how does one explain something so illogical? The prosecution's claiming that the defendant moved the victim's dead body. But if the entire premise of the argument is wrong... Oh, but what if? Well, let's see your theory, Mr. Justice. The defense proposes that the defendant didn't kill the victim, he was helping him. Ha!
Fulbright, explain for our sad friend here before I nod off to his monotone monologue. Inform him exactly why Spaceboy moved the victim.
Ha! They gotta be joking.
It's simple. Mr. Starbuck did what he did to direct suspicion away from himself. He wanted to create the impression he heroically risked his life to save his partner. That's why he made sure to make the security camera so that'd be a record. At the very least, he appears to have achieved success with you and the old man.
Ah. Beautiful expression of friendship.
The average person wearing a spacesuit easily weighs over 200 pounds, saving the life of a partner who weighs as much while trying to escape deadly flames. What a dramatic sub-story fit for the silver screen.
Indeed, I was completely taken in by the humanity of the story.
You see, yet the true ending is that all traces of his humanity, Hammy act, were meant to be blown up. Yes, and now we arrive at the thrilling conclusion. The third explosion. There was a third explosion. I don't remember this case. I don't know.
What are you talking about? There was no third explosion.
Indeed, you are correct. But that's thanks to Detective Arm. It was she who identified and secured the bomb. However, it doesn't change the fact that the third bomb was discovered in the lounge. In the steel coffin beside the witness stand, that would be a bomb transport case.
No!
We used that to transport the deactivated bomb here. It was found in the lounge, a bomb in the form of in the form of a most distasteful toy.
What?
One on the second floor of the main building, one on the launch pad, one in the lounge. The defendant planned to set off 3 fireworks displays. Fortunately, the third was discovered before it could be detonated, for if it had not, the victim's body and other vital evidence would surely have been immolated. Before you utter a word, know that the evidence supports me.
It's like he's reading my mind.
As it is still undergoing forensic investigation, I do not have the evidence on hand. However, know that a peculiar item was found in one of Mr. Starbuck's pockets. Specifically, a bomb detonation switch.
You found a what? In his what?
I suspect the defendant had no time to destroy such damning evidence. When the Space Center director and Detective Arm stumbled across the murder, so he thought to hide it in his pocket, feeble-brained that he is.
No, Mr. Starbuck would never do anything like that.
Oh, absolutely. Justice Dono, open your eyes and see the truth.
This appears to be an irrefutable evidence that the accused set off the explosions. No, there has to be some kind of mistake. This can't be the truth.
Still can't accept it? You believe in your client, come what may? Then why don't you cross-examine the defendant himself?
Yes, this has got to be a trap. It's like Blackwell's controlling the entire game.
Yeah, it would seem he's waiting for me to bring up the body-moving issues.
Why do you say that?
Because he had just the right argument when I pointed it out. And to really rub it in, he had decisive evidence to up his sleeve too. He was trying to shake my faith in Mr. Starbuck and break me down.
Then making you cross-examine Mr. Starbuck at this point was part of his plan too?
Totally underhanded, but I wouldn't expect anything else from him. Now, let us hear from the arch-villain, the fiendish murderer himself, famed astronaut Solomon Starbuck. That is one depressed man if I've ever seen one, and I've seen a lot of depressed men in my time. Gulp, gulp.
Witness, state your name and occupation, please.
Solomon Starbuck, astronaut. How did this happen?
Mr. Starbuck, you aren't looking very well. Will you be able to give testimony?
No.
Well, unfortunately, no is not an option. You are being accused of the Space Center bombing and the murder of Clay Terran. Please testify to these allegations.
Okay. Mind if I take this suit off? It's getting really heavy. Silence. It's not the weight of the suit that you feel, but your sins. Prepare to carry that weight for the rest of your life. Banish me to the moon, I don't care anymore. Oh, that was super negative. Is he gonna be alright up there? He'll be fine, I think. As long as he doesn't totally give up and say that he did it, that is. I love how the zip looks like a tie. All I did was support Clay over my shoulder and get us out of the rocket. Like always, I took the elevator down to the middle level and headed down to the corridor. Clay had passed out by the time we got the order to evacuate. I didn't kill Clay. I was trying to save him. So you asserted you didn't set off the bombs or murder the victim. I bet you think I'm lying, right? I reserve all judgment until after I've heard your full testimony. I'm sure you don't believe me. I bet you don't even believe I'm an astronaut. I don't think the judge doubts that. Who'd wear a suit like that except for an astronaut? I will say that when I saw you in that movie, you appeared quite courageous. I thought though I suppose reality never quite lives up to fantasy. I guess I'm just a big disappointment. I don't really care what happens anymore. Oh no, he's completely given up. What a depressing fellow. If you were to join me in the clink, I imagine that annoying sighing of yours would rub off on one of the inmates. Oh, like how it rubbed off on Prosecutor Blackwell a second ago. Huh? That was Blackwell sighing? Mr. Starbuck's testimony contains a glaring contradiction. The elevator would have been out of order, right? Because that's the elevator shaft, and that's the explosion. Yeah. So, from what this looks like, I love you too. I hope you sleep well. Good night. Mwah. The explosion sparked a fire on the second floor of the main building and the middle level of the launch pad near the elevator. So the elevator would have been engulfed in flames. The question is, what does it mean? Even if Mr. Starbuck is my client, I can't be gun shy now. It's time to find out about the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. I didn't kill him. Oh, yeah. Hi. It's me. I'm sorry. I don't think he could do the voices. He dipped. Yeah. He tried, and he was like, I can't do this. He tried his best, though. I will give him that. Is that the elevator inside the launch pad area? That's right. We always use it to get to and from the cockpit. That makes sense, so he's just using the route he always has, in spite of the fact there had just been an explosion? Huh? I think Mr. Starbuck is hiding something pretty big.
Objection!
Mr. Starbuck, I need your testimony to be as accurate as possible. Was I not being accurate? No, because it's impossible for you to have taken the elevator down to the middle level. What makes you say that, Mr. Justice? Please recall where the bomb first went off in Launchpad 1. Also recall that after the explosion, the middle level elevator was engulfed in flames. Oh, you're right, which means...
Exactly. The launch pad's elevator would have been unusable, in other words. Mr. Starbuck, your statement is decidedly inconsistent with the facts. Me too, man. What's with the helmet? Ah, Mission Command, do you read me? Come in, please.
Objection!
And this is Mission Command. I order you to pay attention. Stop this nonsense and answer my questions, Mr. Starbuck. Ah, my helmet. Oxygen tank. Oxygen concentration and body temperature declining, requesting medical assistance. He has serious mental problems. He has PTSD through the arse. It's a character trait. That's how through the arse it is. Mr. Starbuck, we are not in space right now. Please stop pretending you have lost consciousness and stand back up. Oh, no. I apologize, Your Honor. I forgot I was still on Earth. I feel like all we did was get a reel of... I feel like we all just got a real glimpse of Solomon Starbuck, the astronaut. Yeah, he seemed more like an astronaut now than when he was doing that up there, doing all that sighing. I can't read. Mr. Starbuck, could you please explain the inconsistency in your statement? About how you used the middle level elevator? I was nervous and I said the wrong thing. I'm sorry. I took a different route, I think. A different route? I hope you're able to deliver a straight story this time. I'll get it all right this time, maybe. No, I mean probably. Probably. It's understandable to be nervous, but let me remind you, accuracy is paramount in court. My escape route. Let's see. My escape route. What I said before was a mistake. I remember now. I took a different route, maybe, probably. With the capsule and clay in my arms, I made my way down to from the upper level. So you're saying you escaped without using the elevator? That's right. There's a ladder that spans the upper and middle levels. I used that ladder to get to the middle level. Luckily, the fire hadn't reached the ladder, so we could make our escape like that. And the capsule you mentioned, I suppose you mean the thing next to Mr. Terran here. Was the capsule that important you'd risk your life to take it with you? It almost goes without saying, but yeah, the capsule contains asteroid samples. Therefore, it's invaluable research material. With its spacesuit on clay weighed at sun, but securing the capsule was also important. I need you to answer to the best of your ability. Mr. Starbuck, please remember that your verdict is riding on your testimony. Maybe I am guilty after all. I wonder if you can see the stars in prison. I bet it's more comfortable than a spaceship. Well...
Hold it!
The upper level of the launch pad area? That's right, that's what I said, isn't it? Granted, that route does exist. So to recap, you had clay over your right shoulder and the capsule in your left hand. Kick him out. Yeah, it's really important, so I couldn't let it get burned up. Even though clay was really heavy, I couldn't afford to carry him with both my hands. I did the best I could with him over one shoulder and the capsule in my other hand. I don't think the meaning of what he just said has hit him yet. You know what you have to do with that statement, Justice Dono. Yeah, I know. I've come this far, no turning back. So Mr. Starbuck escaped with clay in the capsule, which means... Just like in the footage, I can see why he couldn't run, though. He must have weighed over 200 pounds just by himself. Yeah, and he had to support clay, who was another 200 pounds. Plus, he had to ensure the safety of the capsule. I don't think I could have even walked under those circumstances. Walking straight forward is probably about all I would have been able to manage. Thank you. Mr. Starbuck, why don't you just tell the truth? The truth? Let's see. The Earth is blue? No, that's not right. So I guess the Earth isn't blue. Yeah, that's it. The truth, Mr. Starbuck. Oxygen concentration is super low in this area. Prepare the emergency oxygen tanks. Mr. Justice, the witness appears confused. Please help draw the truth out of him. Mr. Starbuck, under the circumstances at the time, you couldn't possibly have reached the boarding lounge via the upper level route. Huh? The ladder. The ladder. To get down from the upper level to the middle level where Launchpad 1 corridor is, you would have had to go down the ladder. Isn't that correct, Mr. Starbuck? Of course. That was the only way we could escape.
Objection!
But how would that work? At the time, you were supporting Mr. Terran over your shoulder, were you not? And remember, he was full of space gear as well, putting him at over 200 pounds. Oh. Well, it's easy on the moon. Gravity is only 1/6 of what it is on Earth.
Objection!
But the space center is located on Earth. Short of believing an octopus, climbing a ladder with an adult male in space gear in one arm, while carrying the capsule in your other is impossible, wouldn't you say? Maybe he's got the leg strength of a god. You ever consider that, Justice? So, Mr. Starbuck, how exactly did you climb down that ladder with your arms full? Mr. Starbuck, come clean and tell us the truth now. Yeah, thank God that's been bothering me all day. Fucking hangnails. Engineer, where's the engineer? Oxygen leak detected due to faulty maintenance. Evacuate immediately. Oh, there he goes. He's flying the coop. Help, I'm cutting the ceiling. Help? Anyone? Bailiff, get a ladder! Prepare the cherry picker, we must launch our rescue mission at once. Well, that's one way to take off while being questioned. I'd rather prove his innocence so he can go to space someday for real. Because he has PTSD, Bax. He has severe PTSD. And he's an astronaut. PTSD is space-related. Space PTSD. Now then, Mr. Starbuck, do you think you can keep your feet planted on the ground? Yes, I apologize for losing control. Are you ready to tell us the truth? Not that. Anything but that. What's going on? This isn't the Mr. Starbuck I know. It appears Space Boy is prone to deception. A witness. Yikes, yes? I thought your story odd, but perhaps the inconsistencies can be explained as the result of a medical side effect. Prosecutor Blackwell, please don't talk about that. What are you talking about, Prosecutor Blackwell? He was in a spaceship that blew up, basically, and nearly crashed several times, and he nearly died. And now they're sending him back to space. Didn't I already state that Space Boy is, ironically, terrified of going into space? That is why he took some precautions just before the launch. For you see, traces of this anti-anxiety drug were found in his system. Ah, Lexipro. I sense things are about to take a nosedive. You got it all wrong. I told him during the investigation, too. I don't know anything about any drugs. I never took any medicine, I swear. It was found in his system, but he doesn't remember taking them? How could that be? Somebody must have slipped them to me. But I guess maybe that's why I don't remember, because of the side effects. Yeah, that's why I don't remember much about what really happened. What? He was drugged. Order in the court. We can't get a useful testimony out of him when he doesn't remember anything. Well, this keeps explaining why his testimony keeps changing. When you tell me he just couldn't remember. I guess he didn't want anyone to find out he was terrified about going into space. Maybe I really did do it.
Which brings us to the answer of our original question. How the witness climbed down the ladder with a dead body.
It does? So, what is it?
A dead man feels no pain and makes no complaints, Justice Dono. So the body was simply dropped down from the top of the ladder.
Oh, I see. And then the defendant could climb down with his free hand.
Objection!
Drop the body down? Who would do such a disrespectful... disreputable... bad thing? Besides, dropping the body down would leave marks on the body itself.
So you are capable of quick thinking. Yes, you are correct.
Really? Oh, thanks. Ah, fuck, bird! Huh? What's this?
It's the oxygen tank from the victim's spacesuit. It ruptured, and I'm sure you can figure out why.
You can't be implying that it ruptured when the defendant dropped the victim's body.
I am, for they fracture very easily when struck.
Objection!
Even if that is true, the tank's explosion and shrapnel would have left marks on the body. And according to the autopsy report, only the knife wound was found on the victim's body. You're clearly grasping at straws with this line of reasoning.
Silence.
A spacesuit isn't heavy for the sake of being heavy, Justice Dono. It includes the latest technology devices and is made of the fabric of tomorrow. The fabric is made to protect the astronauts from dangerous space, so falling a few Earth yards would hardly leave a mark on the wearer.
Objection!
Then it shouldn't have been impossible to stab somebody through it as well.
It should, and yet, through sheer coincidence, the knife slipped through a weak spot in the suit's structure and found its way to its target.
What are the chances?
You forget that our killer is an astronaut himself with knowledge of how the suits work.
He's got me there.
And now my argument has been proven. Spaceboy killed the victim of the rocket and then dropped his body up from the upper level. After climbing down, he shouldered the body and made sure the camera recorded them. There's no room for debate about these facts. It's clear that Solomon Starbuck is the only one who could have killed Clay Terran.
Ah, fuck.
Here, and the report regarding the astronauts' oxygen tanks. Consider it my send-off gift. Feel free to use it as payment to cross the river Styx.
Oxygen tank data added to the court record. Hey, that report is pretty detailed. But that says 50, not 80. That very clearly says 50 and not 80. Let's see. The display on the astronaut's left shoulder shows the oxygen remaining. I guess that means these glowing cyan digits represent the amount of oxygen in the tank. I'm done for. I'm going to prison instead of space.
Spaceboy,
Yes?
take heart. The bejeweled night sky is still beautiful even when viewed through bars.
You mean the stars are seen from prison?
That's right. Your cell will be your spaceship. Picture the view through the iron bars. It's like being an astronaut of your own craft for all time.
That's not a half bad thought. Mr. Starbuck? Prosecutor Blackwell got to him good. Because we haven't invented that yet, Bax. That's not been invented. Simon's like, it's okay, buddy. Spaceship prison cell. Fly me, my guilt, and my despair into the deepest, darkest space. And then... Let's get sucked into a black hole together.
Objection.
Mr. Solomon, you dumb bitch. Mr. Starbuck, you can't give up hope. Oh, yes, Apollo? You know Clay really looked up to you. He said you were an incredible man. He said you never give up your dreams and passions for space, no matter the situation. He said that. So don't give up now and help me prove your innocence. For the sake of the man who respected you and believed in you, Clay Terran. For Clay.
For Clay. You're wasting your breath.
Yeah! This is him. Apollo, thank you. I can see things clearly now. Believe it! No, wait, that's Naruto. Mr. Starbuck, you fixed. I cured you of your depression. Oh my god. I'm fine now. Thanks for reminding me of my life's mission. Right, we'll both be fine. I'll prove you innocent, you'll see. And after that, we'll get you back into space. Rah! You've ignited the booster rockets of my soul. I'm on fire. I, Solomon Starbuck, astronaut, a cosmic hero chosen by the universe itself. This is no time for whimpering and crying. I can't let you and Clay down.
Balderdash.
Just call him a slur. To the sun, the moon, all of space is calling me Solomon Soul Starbuck. Ready for launch. Begin the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off! Oh my god, he's flying. He flew a little bit. He flew just a little bit. Well, I feel like I witnessed an actual rocket launch. Apollo, you did it! You broke Prosecutor Blackwell's grip over Mr. Starbuck. I can't take the credit, it was all Mr. Starbuck. He pulled himself through.
If you simpletons are done massaging one another's egos, no matter how positive your mood, my advantage remains unshakable. I have but to wait for the final guilty verdict. Isn't that right, your boldness?
Yeah. I have to stop Blackwell. I have to see this through. Mr. Starbuck has to make it into space. Look at them. Oh, absolutely. Well, let's get ready to rumble. I won't allow Clay's dream to remain unfulfilled. You go to space, Apollo. It's fine. I've got to destroy Prosecutor Blackwell's argument somehow. Think, Justice, think. If the only people at the launch pad won were Clay and Mr. Starbuck, and Clay was already dead by the time this footage was taken, then the only person who could have killed him was Mr. Starbuck. So the only way to counter Blackwell's argument is if we can prove that Clay was still alive when they arrived at the boarding lounge. In which case, I should be able to find some contradiction in the evidence itself. Now, let's see, about this data we just received. This supposedly proves that Mr. Starbuck was dropped by Clay's body in Launchpad 1. But if I'm gonna prove that false, then there must be something I can use here.
Bird, enough of this farce, your boldness. Let's have your verdict.
Fuck you, Simon. Prosecutor Blackwell, you seem to be in quite a hurry to rush the verdict. About this oxygen tank data you submitted just now, it says that Mr. Starbuck had 80% rate remaining, whilst Mr. Terran had 0. Do you stand by the accuracy of this report?
Of course.
Then I guess it simply means that it's faulty, as evidence goes.
You will explain what you mean, Justice Dono.
It's simple. This evidence contains a contradiction of... This evidence contradicts the facts of this case. Take a look here at the detailed description, you'll see what I mean. I hope you have some evidence, Mr. Justice, because I don't see what's so contradictory. Yes, Your Honor, right away. Well, it was... Well, the report says 80 and 0, but we have 50 and an unknown number, so this is... So that's what this is.
Take that!
And how does this evidence present a contradiction? The problem is this part here.
Take that!
Note the remaining oxygen in Mr. Starbuck's tank as he carries Mr. Terran. It appears to say 50.
Yes, but according to the data, our client's tank had 80% remaining. But the oxygen in the tank increased. I see Your Honor finds it as strange as I do. It's bad enough that there's a contradiction, but the increase in oxygen is beyond illogical. Oh my, you're absolutely right. What's going on here?
Silence.
Not fake evidence.
I too find it odd that the oxygen remaining has increased. It would be as odd if my rations were to increase. It would be as odd as if my rations were to increase. But what does it prove? It doesn't change the fact that the defendant is carrying the victim's corpse.
Objection.
I'm gonna have to bet you don't get much more rations because you don't abide by the rules. Either way, the oxygen remaining shouldn't increase, just as your rations don't increase. Damn, call him poor. Therefore, this new information is critical and we can't overlook it.
Silence.
In that case, do you have an answer to this riddle of mysteriously increasing oxygen? You better not disappoint or I'll declare the inconsistency as mere equipment malfunction.
Prosecutor Blackwell has a point. I believe it could be a simple malfunction. Mr. Justice, if you cannot prove an adequate counter-argument to this point, I'm afraid I must bring this trial to an end. So what do you think you could explain why the remaining oxygen level increased? Of course I can. Things to do this time is turn my thinking around. Mr. Starbuck has no memory of it, but he claims to have carried clay. So this man with the 50 on his tank ought to be Mr. Starbuck. But if anything, the display in his oxygen tanks should have shown 80. There's a clear contradiction between the report and the security footage. So what I should be asking is not why did the oxygen level increase, but what had to have happened to make it look like it increased. Am I making some kind of mistake in my base assumption here? Well, Mr. Justice, we're waiting. Yes, Your Honor, I'm ready to answer. This is why the remaining oxygen appears to have increased. The victim was carrying the defendant. What if it was the other way round? The other way round? Would you care to explain, Mr. Justice? As you can see, Your Honor, both men had their helmets on in this footage, but it turns out this is where our base assumptions went astray. We assumed that it was Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Terran, but it was actually the other way round. It wasn't Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Terran at all. It was Mr. Terran who was helping Mr. Starbuck to the boarding lounge. It was what? Order, Mr. Justice. You mean to tell me that the person on the right in this image is a victim, Clay Terran? It's the only way the riddle of this increasing oxygen level can be solved, Your Honor. At this point, the remaining oxygen in the victim's tank was at 50%, and when the victim was found in the boarding lounge, his tank was at 0%. That's right, there's nothing contradictory about the oxygen level decreasing. That means Mr. Terran was alive as they made their escape through the lounge.
Silence.
How short your memory is. Have you forgotten what you yourself proposed, even if the victim was alive at this point in time? How did he descend the ladder with his arms full?
Objection.
Prosecutor Blackwell, you can't hurt me with a broken blade.
Excuse me?
Oh, talking about his blade. It's true we don't know how they got down the ladder. I suppose that matter needs further investigating. But we have proven that Mr. Terran was alive when he reached the boarding lounge. That fact alone shatters your claims, and opens up the possibility that the victim could have been killed by a third party. Ah, fuck. There were two people who claimed to be first on the scene, but can we truly trust their statements? Let's see. The two people were Detective Candace Arm and Yuri Cosmos, right? You think one of them might have given a false statement to the police? Yes, it's certainly possible. We might have to do a little more digging. It seems we'll have to hear the testimony of these first two people on the scene. Score. Come to think about it, Detective Arm should be here in court right now. Bailiff, could you please show Detective Arm to the stand? Oh my god, I wonder who it's going to be. I wonder if it's gonna be... it's the bomb guy! I have an announcement, everyone. What's going on? We're in the middle of a trial here. Please remain calm and listen carefully. Someone has reactivated the bomb. The bomb was defused, but now... but it's about to explode.
explode. A bomb now? Ah, everybody run! Ah, I don't want to die! Oh no, everyone's panicking.
Silence.
Headless chickens with a death wish, the lot of you, calm yourself for all else.
Come on, Apollo, let's get out of here! But what about Mr. Starbuck's dream? Who will carry out Clay's final wish? None of you can do that if you're all dead! I don't care what happens to me. I'm not letting some bomb blow the truth up forever. I refuse to let things end here. Apollo, this is no time to be dramatic. If we don't get out of here now, we're gonna die. Come on, this way. Hey, ouch! Let me go!
No.
Apollo, Juniper. Oh, Juniper. Ah! Juniper, are you alright? Apollo, no, not that way. Ah! Ah!
To be continued. Damn, can't believe I got blowed up. Yeah.
In the middle of the Space Center bombing trial, we had another bombing incident. This one destroyed courtroom number 4. Furthermore, Apollo suffered massive injuries from being there when the bomb went off. Unfortunately, Juniper Woods was fingered as the courtroom bomb.
Fucking God. We're back to fingering people again.
Athena and I knew she had to be innocent, so we took her case on. We managed to clear Miss Wood's name. But Apollo sustained further injuries when he was attacked by Ted Tonate. He's been knocked around a bit too much. Honestly, we just keep fucking Apollo over and over and over again. No matter the game, if Apollo's in it, he's getting fucked over. Apollo's a tough guy, but this is taking its toll on him. Yeah, poor guy. Being attacked by Tonate like that on top of all his other injuries. Apollo is resting at the nearby Hickfield Clinic. Oh, fuck. I've had some experiences with that place myself. What an awful turn of events. I never thought he'd land up in a hospital of all places. My God, Twishy. You must miss him too, huh? Now you don't have anyone else to tease. Don't worry, he's young. He'll heal quickly and be back before you know it. It's been a while since I last saw Trucy look so down. We won the court case today, yet nobody feels much like celebrating. Alright, that's enough of this, people! It's no time for moping around. Now dry those eyes, both of you! You're the only one who's crying, Athena. Technicalities! Look, we have work to do. We have to take over. Take over what exactly? Apollo's Space Center case, of course. As no verdict's been reached, there's still a chance. I agree with Athena. We should pick up with Mr. Starbuck's defense. We have to avenge our fallen comrade, right, Daddy? Apollo hasn't exactly fallen. He's still alive, you know. Good. Now that that's settled, let's get going. Come on, we gotta run. What, right now? Right now? We better not be running the whole way. Somebody got fingered as a killer. Oh, there she goes. I better catch up. Can you take care of the office, Trucy? Sure thing, Daddy. Let's be careful out there. In the meantime, I'm gonna bake some cookies and fill up my magic panties for you. Trucy seems to be feeling a little better. You can always count on Athena to perk everyone up with her enthusiasm. Oh, she's back! Don't mind me, just forgot a few things. Wallet, phone, documents, my bag. Sounds more like you forgot everything. You can always count on Athena for that, too. Alright, you two. Let's be careful out there. Yep. People get fingered again. I don't know why they can't just say accused. She was accused of being the killer. I don't know why they keep having to say she was fingered as being the killer. I was like, sir? Rephrase, please. So our client is one Solomon Starbuck. He's so famous even I've heard of him. That's right, he's a super famous astronaut who works at the Cosmos Space Center. He was actually up in outer space 7 years ago. You seem to know quite a bit about him. Now I'm all excited to meet the man. Oh god, he's back to this. Oh, that was the longest sigh I've ever heard. Apollo told me about you. You're Phoenix Wright, Apollo's mentor, right? Yeah, that's right. Mentor has a nice ring to it. Don't worry about the thing, Mr. Starbuck. Mr. Wright and I have got you all covered. And you're the new kid that Apollo told me about. Wait, don't I know you from somewhere? Huh? You mean other than your trial? I don't think so. Guessed so. My mistake. We literally just covered Wybax. He's in hospital. My memory isn't what it used to be. My mind and body are kaput. Same goes for my life. I mean, I'm so astronomically unlucky that I had a bomb go off in the middle of my trial. Trying to defend me would be like trying to enter the stratosphere without a spacecraft. Yikes, he's seriously got to stop depressing himself. Cheer up, Mr. Starbuck. Besides, that thing you said about entering the stratosphere, that just means we shine like shooting stars, right? Like shooting stars, huh? You know what? You're right. Why didn't I think of that? After all, that's what we were all put on this earth to do, right? To shine like stars. I guess I shouldn't mention the fact shooting stars burn out in a flash. Ah, yeah, here we go. 3, 2, 1, to the stratosphere and beyond! He flies sometimes, as a treat. Yeah, I feel alive now. You can go ahead and ask me anything you want. Is that really all it takes? So you have no memory of the incident? I'm so ashamed. My memory of the time is as black and clouded as a dark nebula. Still, it is strange you don't remember a thing. Are you sure you didn't take one of those anti-anxiety pills, like they said at the trial? You got it all wrong. I told them during the investigation, too. I don't know anything about any drugs. I never took any medication, I swear. It is true. I developed a fear of space because of what happened 7 years ago, and I was taking medication secretly every now and again when my anxiety got bad. Having a fear of space is not something an astronaut can brag about, you know? And the so-called hat won a miracle? Oh, the so-called hat won miracle. Well, that must have been a terrifying experience. But I'm still an astronaut at heart, come what may. I would never take drugs that might impede my performance just before a launch. That launch meant everything to me. That's more certain than the theory of relativity. He seems like a completely different person now. Is this the face of the This is the face of the astronaut I know. But the tranquilizers were found in your system. See, that's the thing, but I don't know why. I'm so done for. If you didn't take them, then maybe somebody slipped them to you? Exactly, that's what I thought. It must have been the real culprit. My medication was in my locker. Anyone could have got their hands on it. Maybe the real culprit also planted the detonator switch in your pocket. Yeah, that's gotta be it. I've been framed, I'll say. You even managed to plant your prints on the switch before slipping it in. It's a real possibility. Do you remember anything else that might be relevant? Anything at all, no matter how small, like about the murder weapon, for example?
That knife, I think it came from one of the Space Center's utility kits. Utility kits? Yeah, staff who work on machinery a lot are given these special toolkits to use. All the technicians have them, so I doubt you could prove whose knife it is. Utility knife updated in the court record. Hat one miracle. Yeah. No. It says GYAXA. You got the A and the Y confused. As I recall, your last trip into space was 7 years ago, right? That's right. It was a pretty rough experience. During that mission, we had all kinds of problems with the craft. You did? What kind of problems? Power failure, oxygen leakage, busted radio, cracked windows, loose control column. The heat shield came off as we were entering the atmosphere. I thought I was a goner. But I managed to make it somehow with the popsicle and ice packs from the freezer. No wonder they dubbed it the Hat One Miracle. It's a miracle you made it back. Space is a boundless place. That's why it continues to capture people's imaginations. But the vastness of space shows us how insignificant we all are in the scheme of things. The darkness just goes on forever, and ever, without end. There was nobody else there. Nobody was gonna come and save me. I was all alone. All alone, with nothing to listen to but the sound of my own breathing and heartbeat. I kept scrambling to make repairs, but I couldn't keep my hands from shaking. An experience like that would make anyone afraid to go up into space. With the experience you had, weren't you dreading this mission? What? No way. Of course not. Even now, I want to go up into space so bad I can barely stand it. I want to shake off Earth's gravity, escape velocity, and spin around weightlessness. But you have to admit, it was pretty harrowing. Weren't you even the tiny bit afraid? The tiniest bit afraid? I was afraid. Of course I was. Still am. But space is man's final frontier, an unknown world. The cosmic truth is out there waiting for us somewhere. The cosmic truth, huh? I guess there are people looking for the truth in every walk of life. No matter how afraid I am, I'm sure I can manage. If I give in to my fear, I'll never find the truth. As long as I don't give up, I can keep on the fight. One thing's for sure, Mr. Starbuck's passion for space is undeniably a real deal. The victim, Clay Terran, he was kind of like your protege, wasn't he? Well, it wasn't a big exaggerated deal like Master and Apprentice or anything like that, but Clay did think of me as his mentor. The mentor and protege, what a combination they must have been. With his encouragement, I knew I could get over my fear and go back into space. But now, Clay must have been very encouraging, huh? Yeah, it's funny. Real funny. It's funny, really. Whenever I hear him shout, "You're fine!" I always got the feeling everything was gonna be just fine. You're fine? Apollo says I'm fine and you're fine all the time too. I always feel encouraged too whenever I hear him shout it. Yeah, Clay and Apollo were best buds. They used to come visit the Space Center a lot, even when they were high school kids. One day, out of the blue, Clay even told me he wanted to be my protege. Those two hung around the Space Center so much it was like they were part of the staff. One time, during zero-G training, I started to panic a little bit. And the two of them took turns shouting, "You're fine!" over the radio. It was a simple thing, but it was exactly what I needed to hear. So, I'm fine and you're fine were like Clay and Apollo's secret phrase, huh? I wish I could ask Apollo more about Clay and their relationship now. They were gay for each other. That's their relationship. Speaking of Clay, how do you suppose he climbed down the ladder with you over his shoulder? Sorry, but I can't even begin to imagine. But he actually did climb down that ladder, so that a way has to exist. From the freedom of space to the walls of a cell. But that prosecutor said the dark night sky isn't half bad through barred windows. You're fine, Solomon Sol Starbuck is fine. Everything's gonna be alright. Huh? And Athena Sykes is fine. Come on, Mr. Wright, you too. Do I really have to? Phoenix Wright is fine. I can't hear you. Phoenix Wright is fine. There you go. We'll get you back into space yet, Mr. Starbuck. Believe in your own innocence and have faith in us.
Apollo believed in you wholeheartedly, and that's good enough for me. I believe in you too. Thank you. Thank you, both of you. I'll put my faith in you. And I vow to make it back into space. All I need is a not guilty verdict. It sure feels nice to reassure ourselves every now and again that we're all fine. Okay, Mr. Wright. Let's get our investigation of the Space Center started. Pronto. Good idea. Let's go. Alright, bye, Queer. Well, I was wondering what kind of place the Space Center would be. It almost looks like an amusement park of the future. Yeah, did you know they even let the public see their rockets up close? Oh, so check it out. Look how bright the GIAXA logo shines in the sunlight above the entranceway. I really dig the stars and rocket motif it's got going on. GIAXA, huh? Isn't that the new name of the Federal Space R&D program? Yeah. Why the strange acronym? What's the GYA supposed to stand for? Galaxy? If that were it, then the whole thing would just be something like Galaxy Exploration Agency. Which, if you ask me, I'd have to abbreviate to GAXA or even Gaia. GIAXA! It is, I believe, 9 o'clock. And whatever minute it can be, it is, because I don't actually know what minute it is right now. Ah, 4:09 in the evening. I guess so. Oh, I know. Maybe the person who came up with the name really just likes the letter Y. This exchange is beginning to think an oddly like deja vu. Anyway, this place is more than just a research facility. It's also a tourist attraction. Tourist attraction? Don't make me laugh. This is a monument to the human race. Galactic scooter, full speed ahead! He only has one eye. Hello, Director Cosmos. Who's this geezer and what does he want? Look upon me and look well. Behold the great power of the space science. Pardon me, but you are? My glorious name is Yuri Cosmos. I'm the director of the Cosmos Space Station Center, the center of the cosmos. Boss, that was pretty groan-inducing. If this person is the Space Center's director, then that means... you were one of the first to discover Clay's body, weren't you? And who was the first? No, not Gilf. No, Kirby. Down, bad. If I had a spray bottle emoji right now, I would use it on you. Actually, I might have a spray bottle emoji. I don't have one. And who was the first to find the victim? Actually, there were two of them. The Space Center Director, Yuri Cosmos, and Detective Candace Arm. No. That's correct. I was honored to be the very first man in all space and time to discover the body. But talk of the incident, are you by chance the space police? You can't tack the word space onto any old thing, you know. We're Mr. Starbuck's lawyers. We're here to investigate the case. Oh, and we're Earth lawyers, by the way. I see. Yes, I've heard about you. In that case, by my esteemed privilege, I grant you permission to investigate. I trust you're appropriately grateful. Now go ahead, have at it. No, don't give me that face. I'm going to tell your father. I can already tell he's going to be nothing but trouble. Don't let him hear you say that. You'll see what trouble really is. Let's just be professional and ask him where he found the body, okay? Also, I like the very much the Nintendo stars he has on him that are meant to look like buttons, but are very clearly Nintendo stars. So, as director, what do you do here at the Space Center specifically? Defend peace across the galaxy and promote space development in this country. No matter what obstacles stand in our way, we keep going for the sake of mankind. I believe I used the word specifically in my question. Attention all personnel to your break stations. Prepare for break. get it. You just wander around and tell people what to do in a self-important manner.
That's exactly right, because I'm an important man. My manner is important.
Mr. Wright, this man doesn't get sarcasm. Mr. Wright, this man's autistic.
Well, there's bound to be some people like that here in the boundlessness of space. What's that? You know what it is to make an import. You want to know what it is that makes me important specifically? Very well, I will tell you. I was the central figure of the Hat One project. You may proceed appropriately. To be appropriately impressed. Now, go ahead, have at it.
I might be more impressed if I knew what you did for it specifically. Could you tell us what you know about the incidents from the other day?
I refuse. What? Explaining is a job for common folk, not the director of the center of the cosmos. He's a bit of a dick. My testimony, which will go down in space history, will be heard in the courtroom.
What? So does that mean you'll be taking the stand tomorrow?
That is correct. I will be the most glorious witness in the history of mankind.
He wouldn't treat you right, Kirby. Looks like Director Cosmos is the type that only talks about what he wants to talk about. And let's at least try and make him talk about things he might be willing to open up about. Hat One. The Hat One was a rocket that launched into space 7 years ago, correct? And despite the numerous problems, it somehow made its way back home?
I suppose it is my job to educate ignorant young folk like you.
How old is this man?
Kirby, no, he's 62. He would not treat you right. He would take you out to dinner at an expensive restaurant and then tell you to pay because he's important. Do better for yourself. Look, okay, Kirby, you like women, right? You like pretty women. Of course you do. Everyone likes pretty women. Who doesn't like pretty women? Anyway, just wait. You'll see pretty women. You'll see a pretty woman. She won't treat you right, but that's fine because it's a woman. Very well, I will impart to you the complete story of the Hat One project.
Oh, thank you very much.
Hat One's noble mission was to collect samples from an asteroid. Mr. Starbuck was the pilot for that flight. Eventually, the Hat One reached its planned orbit, from where it launched the Hope probe towards the asteroid belt. From there, the Hope probe began its long, lonely journey into the far reaches of space. Then, a terrifying struggle. The Hat One returned safely. After a terrifying struggle, the Hat One returned safely to Earth. How?
That struggle was the incident known as the Hat One miracle occurred, right?
Correct, and it truly was a miracle. Of course, they just had to turn the ordeal into a movie. For the Hope probe, it did eventually arrive safely at its destination, obtained a few samples from the asteroid, and returned to Earth but a few days ago.
So what kind of samples are they? What's in them?
The samples are scheduled for analysis in the near future. We haven't had the time since they just came back the day before Terrain's murder. Regrettably, we've had no time to inspect the samples due to everything that's occurred. But this puts our space development program ahead of other countries by several years.
That's quite impressive. I guess this guy isn't just loudmouth Bagart after all.
In the golden age of space development, our predecessors were successful in bringing a moon rock back. That's the greatest achievement in the history of the Space Center. The public fell in love with space in all of its glorious potential.
A moon rock, huh? I remember it being big.
Our endeavors with the moon rock live on in our work with those asteroid samples. I want to bestow new hopes and dreams for the future upon mankind once again. It is my mission that, as the man who stands at the center of the cosmos...
I hear there's a lot of research into the moon rocks and stardust from asteroids these days. They say the result could potentially have a huge impact on all of civilization. It's like we're in a new space race with every other country out there.
What? Bite your tongue. It's not for anything so base as money or politics. It's all for the brilliant future that awaits mankind. All for my illustrious mission. With the recent budget cuts, my staff tell me finances are tight, but I won't hear it. I guess even a space program has to watch its budget. By the way, you seem awfully knowledgeable about this kind of thing, Athena. Huh? Oh, well, you know, I thought I'd better brush up for the case. Is that so? Well, I'll be on my way. As you can see, I'm a very busy man, and very important. Galactic Scooter, fire up the main engine, max battle speed, and engage! And there he goes. That thing is surprisingly fast. He's got a Segway. I guess we better get going too. You bet. Let's make it so. So this is where Mr. Terrain was murdered. And this is the lounge. Let's see the diagram the police made again. Right now we're in the main building here on the right side, on the 3rd floor. Mr. Clay and Mr. Starbuck fled here from Launchpad 1 after the explosion. You there, no admittance without express permission. Mr. Starbuck's lawyers, we've come to investigate. Sorry, nobody gets in without permission, not even the police superintendent. Can't have Detective Fulbright getting mad at me. So Detective Fulbright is here, huh? Yeah, he's in the Launchpad 1 corridor. Go get clearance from him, then we can talk. Leave it to me, I'm great at getting intel out of Detective Fulbright. Not quite. Close, kind of. Let's see, what trick should I use on him today? I don't know if I should be grateful or afraid. So, let's get to Launchpad 1 corridor. You just have to go through the door with the blue rocket on it, I think. Wait, that door. Looks awfully familiar. Good eye there, boss. This is the door Clay and Mr. Starbuck used during their escape from the launch pad. Oh, that explains it. The fingerprint system has been deactivated, so I think we can just pass through. Now come on, let's go. We're gonna go see your favorite guy. You excited, Kirby? So this is it, huh? This is the corridor the two of them used in their escape. Yep, that's the only thing connecting Launchpad 1 with the main building. I see police tape down at the other end. Guess we won't be looking at the launch pad. After the explosion, this whole corridor must have been filled with smoke, and the launch pad itself was probably a sea of flames. Must have been pretty scary for them. Now, where could Detective Fulbright be? Hey, I think he's over there. What should I do? Which path is the path of justice? He seems to be lost. That's funny. This corridor is straight shot. Huh? Ah, you lawyer people, welcome to the Space Center. Enjoying a relaxing day off, are you? Here, for a little rocket sightseeing? We're here to investigate the scene, same as you. Do you have any info to share? Boss, if he acts all reluctant to give us information, we'll hit him with the whatever shall we do act. I'm sure he'll fall for it. Got it? Are we trying to catch the unruly family dog here or something? Info on the case, sir? Alright, I'll gladly share some with you. Oh, what just happened? Detective and lawyers seeking the truth. Justice side by side. I like it. Just take whatever you want from me, you info bandits. I'm in generous mood today. I don't know. There's something weird about Detective Fulbright today. We need information, so let's run with it. If you say so. What? Detective Fulbright, could you give us permission to investigate the crime scene? There's an officer on guard and we can't get in. Whatever should we do? That's an easy one. I'll let them know over there to let you in. Investigate to your heart's content. Take a week if you need, a month even. Shall I have some snacks delivered? One of my men gives me a neck rub. No, it's okay, but thanks. Definitely not the Fulbright we know. Detective Fulbright's acting sickeningly sweet. It's kind of gross, actually. You think he hit his head or something? Who knows? Whatever the case, it's making our lives way easier. You were here at the Space Center at the time of the incident, were you, Detective? That's right, I was here on security assignment. The police are required to secure rocket launches now, didn't know that. Yes, well, you know us, to serve and protect, haha. The explosion occurred while I was here on duty, so I started leading the evacuation.
He's leaving out a lot of details, but okay. Could you tell us more about what happened?
Of course, a bomb went off in the second floor main building. Right after that, one over in Launchpad 1 also blew sky high. So I immediately instructed the visitors and the employees to evacuate to the shelter.
Okay.
That's right, there's an evacuation shelter in the basement of the Space Center. It's there for accident and emergencies and the like.
So where were you when the first bomb went off?
I was on duty on the 4th floor. It's got the madhouse, I tell you. The elevator wasn't working on account of the explosion, and the stairs on the 2nd floor were destroyed, so we couldn't go that way.
Wasn't it impossible to get down to the basement shelter?
No, we lowered an emergency ladder from the 4th floor window and escaped that way. It was a folding ladder, so it wasn't very stable, but at least it reached the ground. After I secured the ladder, I left to take another look around for any survivors. Once everyone was out safely, I made my way down too, and headed to the shelter.
Oh, what an ordeal, but climbing down the emergency ladder sure sounds fun.
Thank you for your answers, Detective. They were very helpful. Just a moment, I have some more information to share with you. But don't tell Prosecutor Blackwell, okay?
Oh, and Prosecutor Blackwell usually has you on such a short leash, too.
Well, never mind that, haha. I thought you should know that there was a witness.
A witness?
Sure thing, the witness was a Space Center employee who was on the 4th floor. While she was climbing down, she looked through the window into the 3rd floor lounge.
Oh my god, it's Aura! Aura! Aura!
Oh, you're gonna love this. So you think Blackwell's pretty, right? Right, Kirby? You like how Simon looks? You think he's a pretty guy?
Just you wait until you see Aura. So she was looking into the crime scene from outside?
That's right. It was just a matter of chance that she saw something important. Not that I know what she saw exactly yet, though.
You don't? But that's the most important thing of all.
Haha, don't you worry, I'll get around to interviewing her soon enough. She should still be somewhere here in the Space Center. You might even run into her.
A fourth floor employee, huh? Thanks for the info, Detective Fulbright. Gee, you sure are being cooperative today, Detective. A little too cooperative, even.
Yes, well, actually,
something you can't talk about?
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, never mind. Don't worry about me. Well, I'll be on my way now.
It's a stick up his ass. Well, what was all that about? Something's definitely going on. I'm gonna get him out of it. I'm gonna get it out of him next time I see him.
He's gone, don't worry.
Okay, I sure want to talk about it though. Well, we have permission to investigate now. Let's head back to the boarding lounge. Ah, you two. Detective Fulbright has granted you permission to investigate. He also said I should bring you some snacks or give you a neck rub too, if you like. Oh, that's alright. But thank you for the offer. Well, time to roll up our sleeves. Now let's see, where's that diagram again? So this lounge is on the 3rd floor of the main building. And according to Apollo, this is where he believes the third party killed his friend.
Oh, you're not gonna rest till the end of the game then. Every waking moment will be filled with, "Here comes justice!"
Well, let's stop the recap and start looking for traces of a third person then. You read my mind, Athena. We'll make it our top first priority. There's just one problem though. This room. It's just so big. Don't worry. We can use this to help us. A space sensor plan for Taurus? Yeah, I picked it up at the entrance. The map inside should come in handy. Let's see. Here it is. Map of the lounge. This is the door we went through to talk to Detective Fulbright. Oh yeah, that's the door with the fingerprint recognition lock. Well, I guess this map will make things a little easier. Space Center pamphlet added to the court record.
Yeah, no more excuses. Let's track down the third person. Wait, there's just one more thing. What's that strange creature moving outside the window? Oh, boss, it's just a holographic image. Oh yeah, I knew that. There should be a button somewhere around the room to turn the images on and off. That's what it says in the pamphlet anyway. The only reason you're so eager to start is so you can push that button, isn't it? And what's wrong with that? Let's just look for the button while we're looking for clues. Okay, fine, let's get investigating. That's some pretty futuristic looking furniture over there. According to the pamphlet, those are no ordinary chairs. They're amusement park teacup rides. And you can power them yourself, it says. If you spin the table, your chair spins too. Why would anyone want to have something like that in here? If astronauts have trouble with the devices on the ceiling, no vertical spins. Since it's a training device, it's easy on the eyes and the body. Can a person really call themselves an astronaut if they can't handle zero-G? At first glance, it looks like a peaceful landscape, but then there's that creature. Didn't the Hope probe go to some planet? Maybe that's what the surface looked like. I don't know. I think it would have made the news if they discovered a creature like that. It did make quite a bit of news, though, when the probe came back. Yeah. But the Hope probe didn't even go to a planet, it went to an asteroid. And that's a big rock kind of thing. Even aliens can't live there. No matter how much I look at it, all I can think of is torture device, but I guess it's a training device for getting used to zero gravity. Uh-oh, Athena has an odd glint in her eye. What's she thinking about trying this thing out? I should try and stop her, but I'm afraid she'll just outmuscle me. Hey, it's the right! Look at that up there! Some kind of fragment? It's stuck in tight. That's what that glint was all about. The colour looks familiar. I think it's part of an oxygen tank. I think you're right, but if that's here, that means Clay's tank ruptured after they arrived at the boarding lounge. So prosecutors Blackwell's theory that Mr. Starbuck dropped Clay down the ladder must have been wrong. This proves that both of the astronauts were alive when they reached the boarding lounge. So Apollo was right. The scene of the murder wasn't the launch pad. Way to go, Apollo! So this is where they discovered Clay. Yeah, he was already dead when they found him. Let's take a look at the photo. So why was he stretched out like this? Huh. What's that thing that looks like a thermos? That's the thing that Prosecutor Blackwell mentioned when I was in court with Apollo. He said that it contained asteroid samples. Oh right, Detective Cosmos mentioned something about that too, didn't he? That they were brought back only 5 days ago by the probe that the Hat 1 launched. I wonder what they look like. Do you think they'll let us see? Well, let's think about that after we solve the case, okay? Looks like there are 3 doors that lead in and out of this room. Well, let's check. Drumroll, please. Ta-da! The Space Center pamphlet. Well, we're here at the place that says Boarding Lounge 1, and there are 3 doors. Let's call them Lefty, Righty, and Downy. People usually just say West, East, and South in the cases like this, you know. Details. Anyway, look at the West door. That's the door with the rocket. That door with the rocket icon leads to Launchpad 1. We know that because here on the map it says Launchpad 1 corridor. So that's where we were when the detective. It was filled with smoke after the explosion. Right, next up, the right hand side of the map, or east in your words. That's the door with the satellite dish icon to signify communication, aka the control room. Yep, it definitely says control room. Look like it has another door on the opposite side. They communicate and exchange information with rockets and probes in space from there. So, it's the center of the space station. The space center, if you will. Does everybody start talking like Director Cosmos after they've been here a while? But it seems like they built a new command center on the 6th floor. That's what they used for the Hat 2 mission, so this control room was empty at the time. I've always wanted to see the inside of a mission control room, and since we're here, I'd love to do that too, but it doesn't look like we'll be able to. They want to keep curious kids like you out. So the door's protected with fingerprint recognition, only the director can go through. With that much security, I'm definitely not the one they're looking to keep out, Athena. So, apparently, the lock is also hooked up to a
hooked up to the backup generator in case of emergencies. Okay, what about the last door? This lower door, oh, excuse me, south door? It leads to the elevators. This is the same door we came through when we entered the room, right? Yep, and of course there was no fingerprint recognition, so it's open to anyone. But the elevators weren't working due to the explosion. Well, that's about it for the 3 musketeers of the boarding lounge. Thanks. Understanding the layout of the lounge should help us understand the case. That's why I thought we'd ought to have a good grasp of where all the doors go. Did it? Did it? Did it? I wonder what this big knob is for. It looks like the knob of a stove. Oh, it's the same shape, but I think that's where the similarities end. I mean, behind a glass pane, what kind of stove would require a knob security like this? Well, the knob is straight up and down. So if it was for a stove, the burner would be off. Right. If it was for a stove, I wonder what it's really for. Something turned up my knob. Oh, so myself, how about a rocket engine? If you had to start the engine here, the rocket would take off before you could get in. Then I guess all we can say now is the mystery knob. So this is a fingerprint recognition device. I guess you put your hand on this hand mark. Well, I guess what you can try. Now to line my hand up with that. Don't, Athena, this thing is related to the case. Get your prints all over that and the next thing you know, you'll be named a suspect. How can you be so cruel to a little girl like me? I'm not buying those tears, Missy. Let's see, this door, where's that pamphlet? Here we are, the door that located it's the door to the corridor that leads to Launchpad 1. We went through it earlier when we went to talk to Detective Fulbright, so I guess the security lock must be disengaged now, right? They say the corridor was filled with smoke at the time of the bombing. This thing besides the door must be the fingerprint recognition device. Which reminds me, I think Prosecutor Blackwell talked about it in the trial. And the notion of a third party in Launchpad 1 is utterly absurd. Just to enter the area from the lounge, one must pass through a door guarded by a fingerprint recognition device. And allow me to state up front that there are precious few with the clearance to do so. Then doesn't this mean that the bomber's prints were verified by the system? But the number of authorized personnel was supposedly really small. Voila! Fingerprint powder! I bought it just in case something like this came up. I found it at the office. I've been itching for a chance to use it. Oh, way to think ahead. Let's dust the fingerprint recognition device. Yeah. Let's see what I have here. Oh, we got something. Oh, it's only a single set of prints. Isn't that a good thing? Sure wish we could figure out whose prints they are. Although I doubt we'll get so lucky as to get the culprit's fingerprints in the first try. Well, I'm still willing to bet that Detective Fulbright has some fingerprint data. Right. And there's security footage of this door too. Here it is. It came up in court the other day. If I could stop yawning, that'd be great. I just wish I could see the part of the footage just after this bit. Oh, because that would be right before the murder, wouldn't it? Let's ask the detective. With the mood he's in, he'll probably show it to us right away. Yeah, he's almost in too good of a mood today. Let's go see if we can find him again once we're done with this room. Here's another amazing piece of equipment. Walk on the surface of the moon, it says. Oh boy, I want to try it. Gravity is weak on the moon, so I bet I could do a mid-air somersault. We're still on Earth, remember? Besides, it's connected to the ceiling. Well, at least I could jump really high. And there's a sign on the wall that very clearly says, "Don't jump too high." What good is this thing? Didn't I say at the beginning, walk on the surface of the moon? Hey, something shiny down there. Let's take the cover off then.
That's a bullet casing. Really small, but it's a bullet. It's only about 2 to 3 millimeters in diameter. Let's see, that would make it a caliber 10? Caliber refers to the diameter of a gun's barrel, right? Yeah. But I've never heard of a .10 caliber gun before. This bullet must be for a special kind of gun. But if you tried firing a bullet this size with a regular sized gun, it would just fall right out. Yeah, it must have been a really small gun. I wonder how the bullet ended up there. I mean, we're in the bottom left of the south, on the south door side of the room according to this map. That's pretty far from where Clay's body was. Maybe the police didn't think to look here. Yeah, leave it to Detective Fulbright to accidentally just hand us the card we need. What's this, a trapdoor? It's a trash chute. The cleaning robots throw the garbage from here. The robots do the cleaning? What a futuristic world we live in. I just hope they don't revolt like they do in science fiction movies. No way, all the robots here are very nice. Actually, wasn't there one of the Launchpad 1 corridor? We can go say hi to it if you want. This must be the security camera that recorded the astronaut making their escape. Well, let's commemorate this occasion with a love and peace. If you're done now, shall we move on? Yeah, okay, but just one more for the road. Peace. Very mature. A bright purple sky and plenty of greenery and a tranquil lake. This idyllic scene stretches on for as far as the eye can see. It's beautiful, but it lacks something to make it truly captivating. There's some kind of panel with 2 buttons on it. Just push it. That's the inevitable principle of buttons. There are such things as button left unpushed. Hey, a giant holographic image disappeared. Yeah. Although the side of the wall seems kind of barren without it now. Let's see if we can't find anything new with the image off. These are apparently oxygen capsules that are for recovery after training sessions. I wonder if they can change your voice. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Huh? You didn't do anything. It's not helium, Athena, it's oxygen. Mr. Wright, take a look at that. Looks like a bullet hole. Great find, Athena. It's pretty big. Whoever fired this shot must have been using a pretty large gun. You think so? Based on my experience, I'd say this was fired from a regular pistol. Well, whatever the size it was. Somebody fired a gun in here, right? Apparently. This is an important fact. Do you see a bullet around somewhere? No, the police might have taken it, though. Let's ask Detective Fulbright about this bullet hole later. Welcome to the Space Center, guests. Welcome. Yikes. What in the world? My name is Punko. Punko. Are you sightseeing? Are you lost? Are you looking around? Choose one. I will guide you. It's a robot? I am not a robot. I am Punko. Psychological observation and navigation companion. P-O-N-C-O. Punko. Well, I'm kind of glad we got that cleared up. They gave the robot boobs. My thoughts exactly, Bax. Oh, Punko, I've missed you. Huh? You know this thing, Athena? Oh, she showed us around last time I came here with Apollo. So, oh, you're such a good girl, Punko. That's a good girl. Oh, thank you. I'm so happy. So very happy. Oh,
Oh, a guide robot. That's pretty cool. My name's Phoenix Wright. Nice to meet you. I don't know you. I don't know you. Huh? Ouch, that hurt. Oh, she has to register people she meets for the first time. Please register him, Punko. Certainly. Commencing guest registration. Please tell me your name and nickname is fine too. His name is Phoenix. Bit overly familiar, but I'll allow it. Phoenix, please let me get a good look at your face. Oh, sure. Registering. Facial recognition sequence complete. We are now officially friends. Nice to meet you, Phoenix. This robot's pretty cute. This is how I feel talking to Bubbles. You made a friend, boss. Isn't that great? Phoenix, Athena, allow me to guide you right this way. Oh, goody. Let's go, boss. Go where? Space Museum. Oh, wow. What is this place? Is that rocket real? Welcome, welcome. The Space Museum is open to the public every day of the year from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Learn about the history of our nation's space development and the Hat 1 project. The rocket is just a replica, but it's the same size as the real one. A Space Museum? Oh, it's here on the map. So it's on the exact opposite side of the main building from Launchpad 1. Space Center pamphlet updated in the court record. Ask me anything, I will explain. Take a drink real quick. Okay. This is quite the place. I can't believe we get to see a rocket this close. This is a replica of the Hat 1 that was launched 7 years ago. It's exactly like the real Hat 1 inside and out. Its little brother, the Hat 2, was supposed to be launched the other day. I wonder if Punko knows why the launch was cancelled. The explosion? Over there's an exhibition about the launch 7 years ago. Check it out. Spacesuits, photos, newspaper articles. I'd like to come here again on a day off. Hey, what's this photo of? Oh my god! This is my comfort lesbian couple. My comfort lesbian couple, yeah. These two. Look at them. Look at my people. Look at my lesbians. Look at these lesbians. Yeah. Titties. Oh my god, Clay. Whee! Oh, there's Mr. Starbuck. He looks so young and so different. Ah, and that's... What is it, Athena? Is something wrong? Oh, nothing. I just thought Mr. Starbuck looked really young too, that's all. Well, that was 7 years ago after all, so the young guy standing next to Mr. Starbuck is Clay Terran, the victim. They were mentor and protege even way back then. And he's even got one of his staff jackets. He looks just like a regular staff member. No, Clay was still a student then. He just borrowed one of Solomon's old jackets. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Clay would have been still in high school 7 years ago. Everybody looks so happy. Space Museum is great. What a fantastic exhibit. This area used to be Launchpad 2. That's why the only entrance is on the 3rd floor. Wouldn't it be better if they just made a new ground floor entrance instead? There was talk about it, but they had to scrap the plans because of the budget cuts. Budget cuts! Budget cuts! We need more money! Money! Who would record that kind of information into a guide robot? While it was in space, the Hat 1 launched a probe called Hope. The Hope probe collected some samples from an asteroid and returned it 5 days ago. That's what Director Cosmo said too. He told us it came back the day before Clay was killed. And here it is, the Hope space probe. I think we've seen that logo before. That logo somewhere before. Let's see. Oh yeah, a capsule the victim was carrying. I think it had the same logo. I think this can be seen in the photo attached to the autopsy report. Maybe she'll give me some more information if I show it to her. Let me just put my chair back up again, because for some reason it keeps going down. I don't know why. The hydraulics on it are a little bit fucked. There we go. Kirby, are you a fan of mean lesbians, by any chance? The way the Space Center launch pad is set up is really cool. Would you like me to tell you about it, would you? The setup of the launch pad? Go gentle on my spiky head, mind. I want to know, Phoenix wants to know too. Great, now Athena's got a case of poncoitis. Perfect, that's exactly the answer I wanted to hear. Hooray, I will tell you then. The rocket is built right into the side of the launch pad structure. When the rocket is complete, it's moved along with the launch pad over the rails and brought into position at the launch site. Isn't it cool? Isn't it? We used to have a big budget, so that's how we could build it all. It's very cool. A grand setup suits an important place like the Space Center. I guess everyone's hoping for a bigger budget next year, myself included. I'm guessing the whole thing is operated from the control room, huh? That's it, but it can also be operated from the new command center too. Either way, the safety lock in the boarding lounge has to first be disengaged. I guess before a big move like that can be carried out, there was all kinds of procedures. I would love to see the launch pad being moved. When's the next one scheduled for? Searching data. All future plans have been put on hold because of the bombing and murder. I bet. Which is perfectly understandable. Budget cuts. Well, when's the last time it was moved? Searching data. I'm sorry. That answer isn't in my answer database. I guess Ponko can only answer certain questions. Ponko, do you recognize this capsule here in the top right? Checking registered data. I know, that's the Hope capsule. It was carried inside the Hope probe. It contained the asteroid samples, right? Yes, it was designed to store the samples gathered by the Hope probe. It has been stored in the safe in Launchpad 1 ever since its return to Earth. It must not be removed. Don't worry, Ponko. The people in charge already know what happened. They do? I must ask them later. So the capsule has been kept in Launchpad 1, huh? Maybe Clay was trying to carry it to safety after the explosion. The Space Center staff must have really been excited to finally get the capsule back. It's a pity the incident occurred before they got a chance to check the contents. Well, the police took it as evidence, so they'll have to wait a little longer. Hope capsule added to the court record. I thought it was already in the court record. Well, we certainly learned a lot about the Space Museum. Thank you, Ponko. You explained everything very well. Love to explain. Thank you for listening. Thank you. You two are like old friends. It's hard to believe you just met recently. Haha, it's because Ponko's so friendly. Well, what should we investigate next? The mean lesbian on Detective Floor. I see. The security footage and the fingerprint data, was it? Alright, let's go back to Launchpad 1 corridor. Bye, Ponko. See you later. Come again, and don't forget to visit the gift shop. Poor Ponko. What a Dickensian life we all forced to lead. I'm sorry, Kirby. What should I do?
Which path is the path of justice?
That's Detective Fulbright. He still seems to be lost, even though it's a straight corridor. Let's hope he's still in a cooperative mood then. If he doesn't cooperate, we'll just have to use my power on him.
You mean Lady in Distress bit?
Bam, 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 bam. We found a bullet hole in the wall at the crime scene.
You did? Well, our team found that too. It was Detective Arm who fired that bullet.
Detective Arm?
That's right, a warning shot for the defendant.
Was it really such a high-threat situation that she needed to do that?
I'm afraid I don't know the details. What with Detective Arm gone and all.
But I thought there were two people who discovered the crime scene together. We already know that Detective Cosmos will testify tomorrow, so maybe he knows what it's about.
Hey, you're pretty smart. That is exactly what we're planning to serve as the main course.
I hope it goes down easy. Detective, we'd like to run a comparison on some prints we found in the boarding lounge.
Ah, I just happen to have compiled the print data of everyone related to this case. I can always make another copy for myself, so it's all yours. Consider it a gift.
This is quite a bit of data.
No, this isn't the mean lesbian. He might be a mean lesbian, I don't know. Well, when I said everyone, I meant it. Prosecutor Blackwell said to dig deep, so that's what I did. It sure took a while, though.
Oh, he got Apollo's and my prints. He even got prints for all of the robots. I guess when Blackwell said dig deep, Fulbright didn't bother to ask how deep. Ah, Clay's fingerprints are here too.
I personally removed his glove during the investigation. We had to get its fingerprint to confirm his identity, after all.
I still can't believe you took off his gloves to get his fingerprints.
Yeah, well, you can't blame me for thinking they're important to this case. There are a lot of doors that require fingerprint verification in the lounge. Depending on whose prints we find, it can completely change the tide for both sides.
Makes sense. After all, the culprit's prints did get them past the fingerprint lock somehow.
Oh, and take this picture. It might come in handy.
Isn't this just the door of the launchpad 1?
Yep, but Prosecutor Blackwell seemed really interested in it for some reason.
Huh? What's so important about this door?
Beats me, but boy, you could see the gears in his head go into hyperdrive at it.
Sounds like it's going to be a major point of contention tomorrow. Hey, don't forget about the print comparison, boss. Alright, Detective Fulbright, do you think you can run a test for us right now?
You just leave it with me. In justice we trust. Okay, here we go. Well, it looks like it was Mr. Starbuck who opened the security door.
Must have opened it when they went to go board the rocket. His heart must have been so full of hopes and dreams for his space adventure right then.
We'll see the mean lesbian in a second, don't worry.
Thanks, Athena, you've been really helpful.
Oh, okay. Oh, right, yeah, completely forgot about that. God. Hi, Bunko.
Detective, about the security footage that was taken by the boarding lounge 1 camera. Oh, that footage. Go ahead and ask me anything you like about it. Is there any way we could see a little bit more of just the part after this? Easy as pie. I'll be glad to show you. Here we go. Oh. Huh? The screen went black. Yes, apparently the after effects of the explosion damaged the wires. So there's no footage after this point. Haha. Why didn't you just say so from the beginning? So, something definitely seems to be up with you, Detective. You're unusually cooperative. Well, I just figured we work together, we'll get that much closer to justice, right? But it seems like something's really been bothering you. You don't have some ulterior motive, do you? What? I don't know what you're talking about. I would never do anything like that. Ooh. Magatama time. It's been a while, but those are definitely psych locks. Huh? You just mouth psyched? Is there something I should be psyched about? No, psych locks. It's a system of locks and the secrets in a person's heart. I can see when people are trying to hide those secrets by using the power of this Magatama. Presenting evidence can break those locks and reveal any secrets they're hiding. Mr. Wright, how much did they bilk you out of for that piece of rock? If you've been swindled, I know some lawyers I can introduce you to. I'm a lawyer. I'm more than capable of representing myself, thank you very much. It isn't some kind of fraud. It really works. A friend gave it to me a long time ago. But I guess seeing is believing. Allow me to show you. Let's see what... Yeah.
Take that!
Why are you being cooperative? I think you're hiding something, Detective, so why don't you just tell us about it? What to do? Which path of the path of justice? Detective Fulbright is in agony. So torn up with justice. I really understand it's been bothering you, Detective. I truly do. Something happened that goes against your principles, isn't that right? No. I don't know what you're talking about. Until the explosion occurred, everything was just fine. Is that fact? Yep, as peaceful can be. Everyone whistling happy tune as they did their job. You never saw a more relaxed guard detail. For a routine rocket launch, I don't think the guard detail was relaxed. So that claims there's riot police. Before the explosion, what was supposed to happen here was a rocket launch. And yet, security was so tight they even brought in a special task force. I'd hardly describe that as a relaxed guard detail. Huh. Now, hold on just one moment. The entire nation had their eyes on this extremely important rocket launch. That's why I was called in on special security detail. As versatile as you are, I can certainly believe that's true. But I say it's very strange that this person would be part of that detail from the onset. Huh? Ah, she's a bomb specialist. Detective Arm specialized in bomb cases. The fact that she was here on hand means you people knew there was a possibility of a bombing would occur. Oh, you got me, Mr. Wright. He got all pouty. Look at him, he's just a baby. Oh, it's alright. I concede you win. It's just as you say. A few days before the launch, they were warned about a potential bombing. But the plan to launch went ahead in spite of the threat. But why? What were they planning to do if somebody got hurt or killed? Yeah, I know. The decision to move forward wasn't exactly just, was it? How was the warning delivered? By phone and directly to Director Cosmos. But the police department instructed everyone to keep it under wraps. That's a big thing to keep quiet about. No wonder you were so upset.
But it's not only that. I've been distraught about Prosecutor Blackwell as well. His boyfriend, his boyfriend is upset. Prosecutor Blackwell, well, as his handler, I'm sure you have a lot of difficulties. That's not it. It's a question of justice. I've been wondering about why he's allowed to stand in court.
The reason he's still prosecuting? Detective Fulbright, please tell us everything you know.
Well, talking to you folks about it would certainly be breaking the rules.
Never mind that. What are rules but things to be broken, right?
Well, to tell you the truth, having a prisoner act as a prosecutor is highly irregular.
I think we guessed that much.
So why is this being allowed? I've been wondering about it.
So you weren't told why either, huh?
And no, I can guess that the order came from pretty high up the ladder.
Yeah, it would have had to.
But Prosecutor Blackwell told me once. The hunt I've been on for the Phantom of 7 years continues even still.
7 years past? A phantom, huh? And not one of the friendly varieties either, I gather. Boom, boom. This Phantom of 7 years past. Any idea who or what he could be talking about?
Not a clue. But he seems to think that this phantom is behind the whole incident somehow.
Well, wait a minute, he thinks they may have been connected to this case?
Yup. This case has way too many similarities to what happened 7 years ago. For starters, the case happened right here at this very space center too, and both incidents a threat was issued via telephone.
That's why Prosecutor Blackwell thinks the incident is the work of the Phantom.
That's not the only entire reason. I mean, if you want to talk about 7 years ago. That's when Prosecutor Blackwell was found guilty of murder. That was a messy case, and that messy case is what started the whole dark age of the law. So you see how this Phantom and Prosecutor Blackwell's conviction may be related.
Yeah, I can see why he'd think that. This incident and the Phantom, not to mention Blackwell's past. It's almost inconceivable that they would come to a head here. This might sound crazy, but Prosecutor Blackwell can't possibly believe Mr. Starbuck is a Phantom person, right? I mean, he's acting kind of strange during his last trial and all.
The prosecution appears to be ready as well.
Not yet. I'm not quite ready yet.
No, I doubt he thinks Mr. Starbucks is his Phantom, but I do get the feeling that he thinks the defendant has ties to them, which is why he's acting so impatient. He's got a personal grudge against Mr. Starbuck, and that's not real justice. I've always trusted in Prosecutor Blackwell's judgment until now, but this time, I'm just so overwrought about it all. If he's lost his ability to think rationally, I'm afraid it might lead to a false conviction.
I've never seen Detective Fulbright so tormented. This must be why he's been so cooperative. Don't worry, it's exactly what we defense lawyers are working to prevent.
I feel bad for Prosecutor Blackwell, but I'm gonna be rooting for your team this time. And don't tell him that. You have to promise me you won't. He'll beat my ass.
Detective Fulbright, I guess I was wrong about you.
I swore to reform Prosecutor Blackwell and make him a valued member of society again. So I can't just sit by and watch him give in to his emotions and tear the defendant apart. You're the only ones who can stop him in court.
Quiet. You really care and want what's best for Prosecutor Blackwell, don't you, Detective? Leave the courtroom to us. It's not like we want a guilty verdict either.
I was hoping you'd say that. I'm really grateful for you two. To show my thanks, I'll give you another bit of information. It's about the eyewitness. I saw her hanging around the Space Center entrance a while ago.
But really? Then let's go find her, Mr. Wright.
Thanks, you two. I feel a lot better now that I've been able to get that off my chest. And my massive titties. I'm gonna go work extra hard to find that perfect piece of evidence for you. In justice we trust in 3. 1, 2, 3. In justice we trust. Okay, later.
And there he goes. Wait, were we supposed to say in justice we trust back then too? Let's go see that witness now.
You hate missing words? What do you mean?
Alright, Space Center entrance it is.
Don't worry, we're gonna go see your mean lesbian now.
The witness must be around here somewhere. Hello, hello. Uh-oh, don't tell me the witness is a robot. Hello, come over here. Hello, hello. Are you sightseeing? Are you lost? Are you... I am Clunko. Shall I guide you? Guide you? I don't know why, but this robot is kind of freaking me out.
Hey, you're not supposed to be wandering around here.
Again?
I've had it with you, hunk of junk.
Ah. I'm outside. Am I wandering? When did that happen? Welcome back, hunk of junk. You don't know how close you came. If you didn't snap out of it, I was gonna have to put you on the curb on trash day. Nothing works better than a 42.5 degrees karate chop. That's pretty specific. Excuse me, but are you the one who witnessed the murder? Oh, and I'm Phoenix Wright, lead attorney for this case. How do you do? Huh. Big shot lawyers here. I'm Aura Blackquill.
I'm waiting for it.
I am a researcher developing robots here at the Cosmos Space Center. Blackquill? Could she be... And this good-for-nothing robot is named Hunk of Junk. My name isn't Hunk of Junk, my name is Clunko. That's mean, Miss Aura. Quit complaining, your model number is Ponko too. Yeah, but Miss Aura, everyone calls me Clunko. Quit your squawking already. Yeah? No, what are you doing? No, don't! Ah, I bet you won't be talking back now. Yeah, I will obey completely. Yikes. I'd better watch what wires I cross with this one.
Your last name!
Your last name is Blackquill. Do you have a relative in the legal profession? You are correct. Simon Blackquill, who used to be a prosecutor, is... Shut up! Only speak when I order you to speak. Simon is my little brother. You know him? Yes, he might have been caught a few times. Right, Athena? What a dull creature. Has her switch been turned off? Athena being shy? This is new.
Kirby, no!
Oh yeah, I heard he was prosecuting again despite being a prisoner. Why doesn't he just stick to solving dispute among inmates in prison, right? Hey, what do you think, hunk of junk? Yeah, Miss Aura, that hurts. I'm asking you a question. Why don't you answer me, useless hunk of junk? But Miss Aura, you told me only to speak when you order me to speak. I told you never to talk back to me. You're worth more as scrap. Robot abuse, hawk attacks, Blackquill family life must have been interesting.
Yeah. Not quite. Well, she might be a little bit gay. But, not for her. Not for her.
Well, do you have any other questions? Wait, of course you do. You're a lawyer. It's not like I'm on Simon's side or anything. I just want to get this over with. So, you're the person who witnessed the incident? That's right. I was on the 4th floor of the main building in the robotics lab. The explosion disabled the elevators, so I lowered my emergency ladder like the detective leading the evacuation told me to. But it was such a pain. Why couldn't they have used the ladders in the other rooms? Must have been a very troubling experience. Probably best to just humor her here. Then, as I passed by the 3rd floor boarding lounge one window on my way down, I saw the crime as it happened. And that's about it. So you saw the crime as it happened, and that's about it, I see. Wait, what? You saw it being committed? There's no time just to nod and repeat. So you saw into the 3rd floor lounge. The very scene of the crime? That's right. There's a small window on the right-hand side of the room. I looked through that room from the outside. The room was pitch black, but I saw a shady figure hold a lighter in their left hand. And a knife in their right. That must be the culprit. Did you see who the person was? Of course not. The power was out on that floor. There was only a tiny window. I see. But did you witness the moment of the murder? Yes, I saw the figure with the lighter raise their knife, and it happened at precisely 10 a.m. Did you witness anything else? Did the killer have any distinguishing features? I already told you, it was pitch black in there. Although I did notice that the lighter the person had in their left hand was had a pretty ornament on it. It looked like a planet. It was blue, like a little Earth emblem. They had a good taste in knickknacks anyway. An Earth emblem on the lighter. I'd better remember that. She is all tit and zero waste. Thank you for your statement. We'll definitely prove Mr. Starbuck's innocence with it. Yeah, you're right. I won't hold my breath. Pardon me? Oh, did I hurt your feelings? Sorry, I just detest lawyers. That's all. What don't you like about lawyers? It's just an instinctive dislike. But don't feel bad. I hate prosecutors even more. That doesn't make my feelings any better, actually. Why do you hate lawyers so much? Little thing from my past. The whole legal system is meaningless in the first place. I suddenly don't agree. I mean, people are imperfect, they lie, and they're influenced by silly emotions. You can't just expect imperfect creatures to uphold reasonable system of law. Maybe. I like robots much better, even sad sacks like this one. Hey you, look alive there! Yeah, yes, here I go! I am the ultimate robot with amazing oh. Alright, that's enough out of you. You're getting a little too carried away. Huh? What was I doing? Yep, I like robots much better. At least you can make them any way you want them. Unlike humans with their petty emotions and constant worries. How could you say such a thing? Feeling emotions, worrying about things we care about, that's what makes us human. Well, the girl finally talks and she starts with a speech. That's what makes us human. You mean getting angry and snorting like that? Rational thought, that's what separates humans from animals. Unfortunately, your reasoning capabilities are more akin to that of a clever little monkey. But that's nothing to be ashamed of. It must be nice to have such a simple mind. Can I punch her? Get a hold of yourself, Athena. Humans certainly are absurd. Like I said, you were clever, didn't I? Poor thing. Tell me, with people like you in charge, how can I possibly trust the legal system, Oh, shit, creased his Jordans and I didn't even notice. So she distrusts not only lawyers but prosecutors. And prosecutors, but the whole legal system? What in the world happened to this woman to make her so bitter? Even if somebody important to me was killed, I would never wish to see their killer brought to trial, because I'd much rather kill them myself. You can't be serious. That thing you're wearing around your neck. Oh, this? Around Athena's neck? Does she mean widget? Oh, I get it. Well, Her Royal Highness has at last returned to her castle. Her Royal what? Is she talking about Athena? By the way, I heard the rumours. Our director is going to be the star witness in court tomorrow, right? Director Cosmos? Yeah, that's right. You poor thing. You better be careful. That old man's a big liar and a huge baggot. What? He might seem like a bigwig, but he's the centre of all kinds of problems. He has a lot of skeletons in his closet. But it's your problem. Why should I care? What? That's it? No friendly tips? No good luck, guys? Just splendid. I'll leave you to your woes. Come on, Hunker Junk. It's sad to me that she doesn't believe in our legal system anymore. She must have had a very bad experience to make her feel that way. Are you alright, Athena? You seem very down. I just can't believe she said all those things. Well, she's pretty upset. She's been trying not to let it show all this time. Well, I guess it's not at all that surprising. You hear about fabricated evidence and false indictments on the news all the time. You mean the whole Dark Age of the Law nonsense? I'm so sick of hearing about that. Well, all we can do is believe what we're doing. Yeah, you're right, boss. I agree. Maybe it's time we went to go see Mr. Starbuck again. A good idea. We should tell him about that bullet and Miss Blackwell's statement. Alright, then next up, the detention center. Are you happy you've seen your mean lesbian? This man is the embodiment of depression. My lawyers are here. It must be bad news. Hey, not necessarily. We found a new witness. A researcher saw the moment of the murder through the window, the lounge window during her escape. Really? So they're gonna let me go? Unfortunately, it was dark and she couldn't identify the person. I should have known. My stars never align right, too. But we got a lead too, Mr. Starbuck. The murderer had a lighter with him with the Earth emblem on it. A lighter with the Earth emblem? Oh, did you remember something? Yep, I sure did. Just a little bit, though. Anything at all that would help. Anything at all would be a help. So please tell us what you remembered. I thought I was unconscious the whole time, but now I remember I woke up for a few brief moments. That's huge! Did you remember seeing anything? A lighter. I saw the flame of a lighter floating in the darkness. Good, good. What else did you see? What was nearby? It was definitely the boarding lounge, so it must have been after Clay carried me there. In the light of the flame, I saw a dark shadow flickering. A dark shadow? That must have been the third party we were looking for. Thank you, Mr. Starbuck. You've been more help than you know. If we can prove that there was a third person at the scene, and they're the real killer, then you'll be cleared of all suspicion. And the key will be whether or not we can identify the third person in court tomorrow. At least we have something to go on. That's just a big plus. We should probably tidy the evidence up a bit before somebody mistakes me for a hoarder. Now that we have a glimmer of hope, I'm suddenly starving. Why don't we go back to the office and treat ourselves to a big celebration in advance? As somebody who's highly empathetic, you can be surprisingly unsympathetic. Right, anything agency. So, you found your strategy for tomorrow's trial, huh? Good luck. Good for you, Daddy. Well, it's one step forward anyway. Hopefully it'll give us a fighting chance in court tomorrow. As long as we can find out who this third person is. Now, let's get something to eat. I'm starving. My vote's for Eldoon's noodles. Oh my god, I wonder who that is. Oh, Apollo! Oh my god, he's emo now. What are you doing here? I didn't think the clinic was ready to release you yet. My wounds are fine, and I'm done lying around. Apollo, you're supposed to be in bed. Leave the case to us, we'll take it from here. Thanks, but that's not an option. Not for me. Apollo. You shouldn't underestimate your injuries, Apollo, and I don't want you overdoing it. I'm fine. I'm not even in pain anymore. Besides, they just gave me an IV at the clinic. An IV isn't a cure-all, mummy man. Anyway, just tell me how the case is going. Have you guys made any progress? A suspicious figure. Alright, so your mean lesbian, I've just remembered, might be just a mean bisexual. Not entirely lesbian, but she's very woman-leaning. Or maybe she has a type. She likes pretty women and pathetic men. One of the two. That's her type pool. A suspicious figure was spotted at the scene of the crime. We think they may be the real killer. A suspicious figure, huh? Right. I thought you'd be happier than that. Oh, don't get me wrong. I am happy. I fully intend to see Clay's murderer apprehended. Absolutely nothing will get in the way of that. Clay was your best friend, right, Apollo? That's right. Best friend since junior high. Sounds like me and Junie. So what was Clay like? Well, he was full of compassion and energy. He had a really loud voice. The two of you did voice training together. If the two of you did voice training together now, I'd bet you break a few windows. You know, I'd bet you're right. Look at them. It seems like only yesterday Clay was a guy who lived for his dreams. We used to talk about it a lot. He was going to be an astronaut and me a lawyer. We'd talk about it into the night, and even then we'd never grow tired of it. Apollo, about that jacket. Oh, it's Clay's. I know it. It's a special jacket that was only issued to members of the Hat Project. I was finally able to get one of his own when he was selected for the Hat 2 mission. He always looked so proud wearing it. But just when... Damn it, it's not fair! Apollo, I hope you don't try to carry the burden all alone. I guess we're both unlucky. My own debut was a disaster. Guess you're right on some level. That trial a year and a half ago wasn't exactly the smoothest of starts. That was a rough time for me, but Clay refused to let me quit. You're fine, he said. Don't give up. It was right around his screening exam, too. I couldn't have become a full-fledged lawyer without him. That "you're fine" of his is why I'm still standing here today. You're fine, huh? You're fine, and I'm fine were like your catchphrases, weren't they? Something like that. Sure brings back memories. When we were in junior high, Clay's mum passed away in an accident. But he wouldn't show his sadness to anyone. One night I found him crying all alone in the school courtyard. Hey, look at the babies. Mum. Get away, Apollo. Don't come over here. Clay, listen to me. I don't have a mother either. We're both motherless, huh? Look at them. Look at the babies. Look at the babies. He always has that plaster over his nose. I don't know why. I always think everyone else has a mum. Why am I the only one? But you know, when I start to feel that way, I yell at the top of my lungs. I holler, "I'm fine!" And then, you know what? I start to feel like maybe I really will be fine. Yeah. Apollo Justice is fine! Okay, Clay, now it's your turn. Okay. Clay Terran is fine! There you go, now we're both fine. We're fine. We're fine, yeah. What are you laughing about? You laugh first. I'm fine. You're fine. We're both fine. Thanks, Apollo. When you say it out loud, it really starts to feel real. And as long as you don't give up, you can keep on fighting. That's what we believed. As long as you don't give up. Wasn't there somebody else who said something similar? Have I given to my fears? I'll never be able to find the truth. As long as I don't give up, I can keep on fighting. Clay called Mr. Starbuck his mentor and looked up to him. I wonder if I can be as good a role model for my staff like Mr. Starbuck. Sorry, Mr. Wright, but I'll be taking a leave of absence. What? Wait, what do you mean, a leave? You're really serious. Can you at least give me a reason why? When I put on Clay's jacket, I swore to him that I'd catch his killer myself. But that's our goal too. I agree with Athena. We should work together to find the truth. The truth, huh? That's a noble cause. But what if the truth you seek and the truth I seek turn out to be different? I'm not sure I follow. What are you saying, Apollo? I'm gonna catch the person responsible for taking my friend's life in my own way. Take good care of Mr. Starbuck for me. Now, I must be going. Goodbye. Goodbye? Did he just say goodbye? Oh god, he's gonna kill himself. I sense a lot of seething anger and hatred coming from him, and also suspicion. He's not walking out on us like this. I'm gonna go talk some sense into him. Hold on, Athena. Apollo can believe what he wants, but I believe he's wrong. Even if we take different paths, the truth we arrive at should be the same. I think the quicker we solve this case, the better it will be for Apollo. Yeah, you're right, boss. Yeah, that's quite literally what he's doing. Alright, that's enough for one day. Maybe make sure you're ready for tomorrow's trial, okay? If he were here now, Apollo would say, "I'm fine, everything is fine. I just hope things really do turn out fine tomorrow." Okay, now the big question is, do I stop here or do I keep going? It is nearly 10:30. What do I do? Honestly, I could rest my voice a little bit. It's a little scratchy.
and I would like to get something to eat. Yes, I have work tomorrow. Unfortunately, I have work every day of the week. Apart from Saturday and Sunday. Well, I mean, I'm bisexual, so I'm halfway there, I guess. Go rest your voice in your everything else. Okay. I'll do that. Let me just... Well, that's not the right one. That's the wrong game. How did this happen? How did we get here? There we go. Okay. So let me just close out this game. Oh, no. I don't have 90 minutes. Oh. I didn't realize... Why did nobody tell me that I was still streaming, that it says I'm streaming Minecraft? Well, somebody's gonna be very confused. Anyway, somebody's gonna be like, "Oh wow, Minecraft stream from Nobah, Lord, Demoness Lord, Sheep Nobah," and they're gonna get here and be like, "This isn't fucking Minecraft. They took Steve to court. They're fining him for crimes against humanity. They're putting him in jail. They're giving him the death penalty." Trojan horse, you expected Minecraft, but it's actually a court of law. Congratulations, we debated you. Anyway, so I'm gonna go to bed. Well, I'm actually not gonna go to bed. I'm probably gonna play the rest of the cookie run thing. But I'm gonna make something to eat and then go to bed. Probably. Ideally. Perhaps. Most likely. Anyway, I'm going to go and do things that I need to do. Thank you for tuning in. I will probably get to bed at like midnight, so I'll go to bed in like an hour and a half. Have some wind down time. You know, relax with a cup of tea. I'll have herbal tea. I'll have berries, fruit and berries. Because that's who I am as a person. And yeah. So, you know. Yippee! Alright. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye-bye.